Hi there guys, in this video we're going to have a look at the laws of logs. So there's three you need to know, and if you've just watched the previous video I told you that when we use logs it's to solve equations with indices. Now, indices we had a multiplication law, something like this. The base values were the same and we added the powers as our shortcut. So because we use logs to solve indices, the laws are pretty much identical, whereby the multiplication law we can apply when we see that we're adding logs with identical bases. So this only works when the bases are the same, just as this did, only worked when the bases were the same. So what we say is the base stays the same and we multiply what we're finding the logs of. Now if you were to type this in, so 2 raised to a power gives me 8, that is 3. And 2 raised to a power, it gives me 2, but that is 1. So you see you get 4. And 2 raised to a power gives me 16, that is also 4. So once we just use numbers that we know that works and look for patterns. And throughout this whole log process, it is very important to look at the patterns that you see. So here's a general rule. So our base value is still a. And what are we going to do with the x and y's when we see an add? We're going to multiply them. So that's what you need to remember. But you already kind of know it if you know your indices. The same thing can be said about the division law. So let's use the same example as before. Actually, let's just change that slightly. So here we would say, well, right, that's a to the 6. We can subtract the powers. But we're not given the division, we're given the subtraction, but we need to know that's the division law. Division and subtraction went together before, they do now. The base values were the same, so our base values are going to be the same. So we're going to say log base 2, but this time we're dividing, so 16 divided by 4 is 4. And again, I've used numbers that are easy, so 2 raised to a power gives me 16, well that has to be 4. And 2 raised to the power gives me 4, but that's 2. So that's equal to 2, and 2 raised to a power gives me 4, that's also equal to 2. So we can prove these patterns and these formulas just by using numbers that we know are easy to work out. So for the general formula, base stays the same, and we're going to do x divided by y. You need to know that. Okay, now the power law. So if we had a power to power, power law for indices, we multiplied the powers. So now we're going to have a power and we're going to multiply. Dead easy to remember. Now we could look at this and say this is the same as base 2, but 8 squared, well that's 64. So 2 raised to the power of 64, well, that's 6. So we can say that's 6 without using a calculator. And we also know that 2 raised to a power is 3. Sorry, 2 raised to 3 is 8. So, but 3 squared isn't 6. So we have to think, well, what's this actually doing? Well, if that's 3, what's that 2 doing to give us this 6 value? Well, it's clearly being multiplied. So we can say this. So this power law, we multiply. Power laws, we multiplied. So basically the power just comes down in front and multiplies throughout. So that's 2 raised to 3 is 8. So this is 3, 2 3s are also equal to 6. If that's confused you slightly, don't worry. You've just got to remember the power law. When you have a power, it comes down in front and is being multiplied. So it's k lots of log of x to the base a. There's a couple of special cases we need to know as well. So if we're finding the log of something and we've got the same base value, you can type these in, just explore it for yourself, like put the base of 8 and find the log of 8 to the base 8. That's always equal to 1. If you think about it, if I put these as 3, we'd say 3 raised to something is equal to 3, well that has to be 1. And this one, this is always equal to 0. If you think about rewriting this in index form, the base value is a, we're raising it to a power, and we're going to get 1. It doesn't matter what this is, doesn't matter what this is, the base value, that always has to be 0. So there are 2 special cases you have to know. You know, they're going to manipulate this fact a lot. So last thing to do, let's look at a quick example. So they might say, rewrite this in terms of log of x and log of y. So what's happening here? You should be able to tell that these are being multiplied. So, multiplication law. So we could say log of x squared to the base 2 plus the log of y to the base 2. So I've kind of gone in the other order, the other direction. So before I gave you this and we wrote that, but now I've given you this, and you have to recognize that's being multiplied, so we can use the multiplication law. But now, look at this. We've got a power law. So what happens to this power? It comes down in front. So log of x to the base 2 plus log of y to the base 2. So basically what I've done, I've taken this and I've rewritten it in terms of log x and log y. There you go. So get lots of practice in there, you're going to need it.